Welcome to Message Reveal. Message Reveal, we identify a vibe, a message, or a story told through lyrics of a song. So, before I welcome our special guest, I want to tell you a few things that she's associated with. One, she is the founder of 9 to 5 Miami, and she'll tell us a little bit more about that. She also has a content creation space, and we'll elaborate on that more too as well. And she can provide corporate rentals and apartments. So, you guys, please put your hands together for my special guest, Miss Keisha Hankerson.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you? Good to see
I'm
you
doing.
again.
Thank you. When you say get to see you again, I have to say this. I met her. I was at a podcast summit in Miami. And I
Mhm.
happened to meet this beautiful lady and we connected. And she said she would come on to my podcast and she honored her word. So
Yes,
I thank you for that. Thank
no
you.
problem. Thank you for having me.
Without a doubt. So before we get started, I always ask my guests, what is something that makes you tick? What makes you move? Give me something about you.
What makes me move? My goals. That's it. My goals. I feel like I'm a pretty self-motivated person. So once I get something locked in my mind, I'm just like a dog with a bone. I just gotta keep going until I get it, and then I just up up the ante a little bit more. So yeah.
Yes, I love that. We all have to have goals and move towards those success of the goals. So I know when I introduced you, I mentioned 925 Miami. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I have a company called 529 Miami. We're based here in Miami, and it's a hospitality services company. So we provide several different forms of short-term rentals in the hospitality space. We have the corporate rentals for people who are coming to Miami for whether it be like a work contract, business travel, medical professionals, medical students, or surgery recovery. And then also we have the content creation spaces that are available for hourly rental for people in productions and social media influencers, podcasters, corporate meetings, small intimate events. So those are our two avenues of business within 529 Miami.
I love that. And thank you. I apologize. I said 9 to 5, but again, she said 5 to 9. So we want to make sure we are clear with representing you.
Yeah,
So
it's an
I
easy
love,
mistake to make, no problem.
yes. Well, thank you for being patient with me. Charge it to my head, not my heart.
Of
But
course.
so I know you talked about this, but what was the catalyst for you to get into this space?
Well, so I launched this business back in 2019. It took me a few years to get started. I actually had the idea of starting with short-term rental, like Airbnb. I had, this is back in 2016, 2017, when I came across the idea, wanted to get started. Took a while to get the capital together and find a way that I could do it. There's so many avenues into the space. And so I went with the rental arbitrage model. And this is back before it got super popular, back in 2019, well, 2018.
Well,
And
can I just stop you a little bit? You said the
yeah,
rental arbitrage model.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
Can you just give us a little bit about that for people that's not aware of it?
Yeah, so rental arbitrage model is a business model. Anything can be arbitrage where you make money off of the difference of the like acquisition. So I acquire a lease for a property, and the way my profit is made by everything beyond the expenses for the property. So if the rent is $2,000, and rent expenses are $2,000, everything beyond that is my profit. I don't own the units, I lease the unit, and so that is how the arbitrage model works. But arbitrage, like I said, it can be done not just with rentals, it can be done with something like, for instance, on Amazon. I used to do arbitrage on Amazon years ago where I would purchase something maybe for $5 and sell it on Amazon for 10. So that's the arbitrage, model, and you're making the difference in
Mm,
the
okay.
profit in the difference.
I like that. I don't think I've ever been familiar with that term, so I'm learning something new, but I do understand the concept. So
Yeah.
I think that is definitely amazing. So as we move on, we definitely like to talk to our guests about some lyrics of a song that has either blessed you or giving you a perspective on life or just truly, truly resonate with you. Now, before we get started, there's rules to this, honey.
Okay.
Now, yes, ma'am, it is rules. So if you can sing, you
Ooh.
must sing your throw box out. Now, if
Oh,
you can rap, then
you
you
ain't
must
tell me this
rap.
part.
Of course, of course. But if you cannot do either one of those, you can say it boldly. So, can
Okay.
you give me a lyric of a song that has, like I said, either blessed you, resonated with you, or given you some perspective on life?
Okay, I will go with the song that blessed me. I'm gonna have to look up the lyrics because you can't when it's not playing. Sometimes it's hard to
Of
remember
course.
it. But it's a song called "I Told the Storm."
Oh, I've never heard
By
that.
Yeah, it's by Greg O'Quinn. It's a gospel song. And that is definitely a song that has blessed me many, many times. I told the storm, find the lyrics to that song. I am not going to sing it because it's a powerful, it's gospel. You got to have a voice for
Yes.
gospel. You just doing it injustice if you if you singing and you don't know what you're doing. But I guess I will read the lyrics off, like just the first verse of the lyrics, because it's just gotten me through a lot of challenging times in my well, even before entrepreneurship, just through college and grad school and entrepreneurship. Like, this is a song that always blesses me and just reminds me, like, the challenge, the storm you're in doesn't win. You get to tell it what you're gonna do.
Oh, yes.
um so let's say, it goes, even though your winds blow, I want you to know you cause no alarm, because I'm safe in his arms. Even though your rain falls, I can still make this call. Let there be peace. Now I can say, go away. I command you to move today, because faith, I have a new day. The sun will shine. I will be okay. That's what I told the storm. I told the storm to pass. Storm, you can't last. Go away. I command you today. Storm. When God speaks, storm, you've got to cease. That's what I told the storm.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. And
Yeah,
I love this part where it says, I command, I have. And I think sometimes we forget that we have a voice and we can make it known just by saying that God gives us
absolutely.
that power to say, be,
Absolutely.
and it is so. And we
Right.
seem to forget our power. So I love that. And I have never heard of that song
I
ever.
have to send it to you. Yeah, I love it.
Yes, yes, I like that. So you said you've used that song even in your space you're in now. You said grad school. Can you identify a pivotal moment where you're like you had to tap into that song and use it, or you would have lose it, or lose your
Oh,
mind?
too. So many times. Let's see, but I guess we'll go with the most, I won't say the most recent, but the most relevant to this business that I'm currently operating. So, like I said, 2016, 2017, I learned about the concept of Airbnb and rental arbitrage and short term rental, and I was saving up the money to get the capital to get started. And I had saved the money. So what, early 2019, I saved the money. Well, 2018, first thing I did, I saved the money to get a coaching program, because I'm like, I need help. I need to learn how to do this business. I'm not about to go out here, save this money, and then blow it trying to figure it out on my own. So that
Yes.
was important to me. Got the money to get the coaching program, went through the program, then the process of getting the unit, it was challenging, especially back then. This is pre-pandemic. This is 2019. Rental arbitrage is basically unknown by most people. It's not like now on Instagram and TikTok, everybody like, oh, get an LLC, get a corporate lease, rent it out on
Yes.
Airbnb. Nobody was talking about that back then. And so I had went through all the motions of getting approaching, pitching the idea to different landlords, to different buildings. I got a yes. I got approved for the apartment. I was going to sign the lease. The day I was going to sign the lease, they changed their mind. And,
Oh,
it just deflated me so much. I had ordered all this stuff off Amazon. Like I had $100 of stuff coming already to the apartment before I had even signed the lease. Like that's something I learned. Don't ever order anything till the ink is dry and you got the keys in your hand. But,
yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm signing on Friday. I'm going, I had my mom had come down to help me get everything set up so I could get this thing listed. I'm ready to go. Went into their office Friday, like, yeah, we kind of thought about your business model. We're not sure if we want that here. So no, we changed our mind. Here's your
Wow.
deposit back. And
Wow.
I'm like, okay, so what do I do now? Cause I've come this far. So I remember maybe I took a day, be sad. I would take a day to be sad. And then the next morning I got up and like, all right, so what we doing? So I just went driving, basically starting the process all over again of getting the
Wow.
units. And I remember listening to that song as I was just driving around looking for apartments, small buildings. I work with small buildings. I don't really do the high rises and the luxury buildings with that model. I work with small private landlords and owners, and I saw a few buildings. I'm writing the stuff, the addresses down, and maybe like the next week, I ended up getting a yes from the owner of the building directly across the street. So even now to this day, every time I go over to that property, when I walk out, I see the building. I can see the actual apartment that I was supposed to be in from the front doors of the other apartments, but that wasn't where I was supposed to be, but it led me close to where I was supposed to be. So that song, that those lyrics just kept me driving, kept me motivated, and kept me looking for the next move.
Wow, I think that is something to be said. One thing that you said that was really beneficial, you said, I took a day to be sad. I think it is truly okay to take that day to be sad. Now, do we need to have 120 days of sadness? Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Once you
Mm-mm.
get over those days, some people may take three, one may take one. But when it's time to get up and get out and
Yes,
start
ma'am.
taking care of business, you were a true example of that. And I do know everything happens for a reason. That no was a catalyst for you to move on. And like you said,
Mm-hmm.
every day you see that reminder, like, hey, look where I'm at and look what I'm doing. So
Yeah.
kudos to you for that
Thank you.
process and keep going. I love when we fight in spite of, we
Mm-hmm.
keep moving on. So tell me a little bit about yourself, where you're from originally, just a little bit more about yourself. We want to unpack who you are as a person.
Okay, so like I said, I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is South Florida, probably 20 minutes away from Miami. I live currently in Miami now, but 20 to 40 minutes depending on where you're coming from. Born and raised, I went to University of Florida for undergrad, so I'm a Gator. Go Gators! And I know it's got to be a Gator watching. We're everywhere, so it's got to be a Gator watching. And then I went on to moved to Chicago. I did the Peace Corps, which is like AmeriCorps, but in America. And then I went on to grad school. I had my master's in health administration. And so I come from a healthcare background. And shortly after grad school, I abandoned ship, and I'm like, yeah, it's not gonna work. Like, I can't do this corporate thing for
So
for 20 years.
can I jump in there and ask you, what was
Mhm.
it about that you said, no, I'm gonna change the course? What was it?
Well, it was just me. By that point, I was 23 or 24. And so I'm evaluating, and now I'm thinking ahead to, okay, what's next in life? Like a bigger stretch. It's not like, you go from middle school to high school to college, these small chunks. Now I'm like, all right, we got a bigger chunk of life coming up, right? There's the career, there's the building your adult life part. And I'm looking back and reflecting on all the highs and the lows. It's like, oh, I'm in middle school. Woohoo. Man, I can't wait to go to high school. Oh, I'm in high school. Man, I can't wait to go to college. Oh my God, I cannot. It was just all these ups and downs. And I'm like, okay, so when does this stop? Like, cause
Hmm.
this roller coaster ain't gonna work for me. And I was looking at the experiences of people around me. I'm looking at the CEOs of hospitals that I'm working with and the COOs of major health systems. While they make a lot of money, they're very successful and respected in their field. I'm getting mentorship from them, and I'm learning about their personal lives, the health
Mm,
issues, the relationship issues,
mm.
the dissatisfaction. And I'm like, okay, so yes, if I want their title, does this mean I have to have this other stuff too?
Yes.
So no, that's not going to work for me either. So I kind of just rejected the path that were being put in front of me and decided I'm just going to have to find my own path. I don't care how I look to anybody else. Like if I made it this far, I know I can figure out the rest. So I really didn't have a plan when I left corporate America, but I believe in myself enough to know I'll figure it out because
Yes.
it's not going to
Yes.
work.
I love the key. I believe in myself enough to know I will figure it out. That's a bar. You need to make a t-shirt about that. I believe in myself enough to know I will figure it out. I those words are blessing somebody. It's getting somebody up and say, you know what, I can do it. And I understand what you're saying. You have to be able to evaluate the landscape. And yeah, you went in there, but you like, this is not for me. And thank
Yeah.
God you identified that early versus later.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's
And it wasn't easy because, it's society, you have friends and family, and they're like, you have this master's degree, so you should be starting your career. Or, some people, they want to be supportive, they don't understand. So, like, well, just get started with your career and figure it out as you go along, work aside, side business until you can. And that's great and that works. But I also know myself, anytime I'm in a space, I want to be fully in it. So if I had started my career, I was going to be fully in my career. I wouldn't have had time or energy to be thinking about how to get out of here. I want to be the best in my career. So it would have
yes,
probably been years before I was able to get acclimated and then have the mental space to say, okay, what is my business going to be? So I was like, you know what? Let me not get myself into that trap
yes.
and just
And
figure it out now.
speaking of a trap, years and years ago, I met this guy that was a lawyer, and him and I were talking, and he was saying that he felt like he was trapped
Mm,
in that career. And I said, well, why? You have other options. You're a lawyer. He was like, now I have lived all these years with wearing these nice suits, having this nice home. And if I leave from that, he said, I don't know anything other than that. So I feel trapped.
yeah,
And I'm speaking to somebody right now that feels trapped. And I want you to know that you are the author of everything you do. You do not have to feel trapped. You can change what you see or what you're in.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And we want to make sure that we are example for anybody else, whether we have children, friends, or anybody, because sometimes it just takes one person to set that example. So
Mm-hmm.
thank
For
you.
sure.
Thank you for sharing and being transparent with that, because
No
a lot of
problem.
people don't want to tell that behind the scenes story. And at the end of the day, I would have never had the opportunity to meet you if you had
Yeah.
not went on that path. So
Yes.
I have a question regarding the podcast summit that you and I both attend. How
Hmm.
did you enjoy it? Do you feel like it was beneficial?
Yes, I enjoyed it so much. I went there as a representative for, my company 529 Miami, and we offer podcasting services in the studio space, the content creation space. And so I wanted to connect with podcasters, but not only that, I wanted to learn about the podcasting world so that I could better service the podcasting world. I needed to understand the needs of podcasters. What are they dealing with? What do they want? How to help their brands grow? And what my space can do to accommodate that. So I learned so much, not just about podcasting, no, just about business in general. Like there were a lot
Yes,
of things I learned there, especially day one, that I can apply to my business that have nothing to do with having a podcast or not. So it was very beneficial, and I'm definitely going to be going in the next coming years that they have it.
absolutely, absolutely. I felt the same way. Speaking of that, um, because of that, I did you didn't during that time you were able to get someone to come to your content creation studio and kind of do some filming during that
Yeah,
time?
Yeah, so nobody did an episode, but I had 4 people come take a look at the space. One gentleman, he came to look at the space. He did like a little promo shout out to us on his Instagram, and he has his own app as well. And so he plugged us into his app, and he had intentions to come do an episode there. But the summit was so crazy with so much going on and so
Yes.
many great people to network with and little events popping up here and there. And you're on top of that, you're in Miami, which is a thing in itself. So
Exactly.
he didn't make it back for the podcast episode. We actually end up doing an episode like this virtually the following week. But he's been a great ally for the space, and I met a lot of great people who love the space. I've had follow up calls with people about packages that we offer for podcasters, and so it's been great.
That's amazing. Well, I'm going to say you're the plug and the connect. And when I come to Miami, I will be talking with you because that was
Yes,
my first
ma'am.
time in Miami and I absolutely loved it. So, my girl, you guys, if you want to know anything regarding Miami, she's the plug and the connect.
Yes, ma'am.
So, can you give me a song that changes the energy of the room and why?
Mm. Okay, I'm gonna say anything, practically anything Michael Jackson. I couldn't
Ooh,
even pick just one song, right? Like Michael Jackson just has timeless classics. It it goes across generations. I mean, you can have my 17-year-old godson is like he loves Michael Jackson. And I'm in my 30s, and my parents they're in their 60s, and it does. We all are going to have a great time singing and dancing to Michael Jackson. I don't care
yeah,
if you're white, black, Asian. It's international. It knows
yes.
no race, color, gender, sexual orientation, age, nothing. Michael
I
Jackson.
I agree. I think that is a absolutely a great one because we know he transitioned from young to old to like you said white and black. But I know you say you couldn't pick out one favorite song, but give me one song that if you're in the car riding and you're like, "Hey, I just need to change the atmosphere." What would you pick? Just one.
Oh, I mean, it depends on the mood, right? Like you got
Okay.
so many. Tell me, give me a mood that I need to be in, and then it may be
Okay,
like,
you need to be in a hype mood, like you're going to go take care of business and you know you're getting ready to execute it in your head. You're like, I'm gonna make it happen. What would you use for his song?
it's probably gonna be it would either be something ratchet like City Girl, some type of City Girl song, or it's gonna be like something Nipsey Hussle.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
She said something right. Listen, I'm not mad at you or for everybody. We have to
City
be
Girls.
diverse.
That's Home Team 305. So I'm gonna use the City Girls to get me in my bad beat energy and
Yes.
go execute, or Nipsey to get me in my boss mode and go
Uh,
execute. So
okay, okay. So you
yeah.
mess with you like that West Coast Nipsey.
I like Nipsey. I can't speak to the whole West Coast, but I like Nipsey.
Well, yes, yes. So what how did you end up finding out about him? What was it that brought you to his or brought your attention to him?
Actually, like a lot of people, I think it was his death. So I already liked him, but I looked at him more as a motivational speaker and like a business speaker. I would see his stuff on YouTube before I really was listening to his music. I would see his motivational speaking, or I guess he wouldn't. Maybe he didn't consider himself a motivational speaker, but just his business tips and his life experience talk that
Mhm.
were on YouTube, different people interviewing him, different podcasts and radio shows. And I just liked his philosophy about life and business. I thought he had an amazing code and work ethic and perspective. And so that's what I really was a fan of. And then when he passed away, I was like, well, let me listen. I know I already knew he was an artist, but I just never, I guess because in the end of his life, he was also just as equally a businessman as he was an
Yes.
artist. And so that's the side of him that I was more intrigued by. But once he passed, I said, well, what else did he have going on? I know he's an artist, and I tapped into his music, and I was like, oh yeah, this my guy, like
Okay.
favorite artist for sure.
So really favorite artist.
Yeah, I could say favorite,
Wow.
definitely in the top three. I'm not a huge music head, but when I turn on something, I'm probably gonna put on some Nipsey.
Yes. Well, we send blessings to him and his family. Rest in peace,
Yeah,
Nipsey. So, and what I love about him, he's a Leo like me. Big up Leos.
yeah. He just had happy belated birthday. Yep,
Thank
and Nipsey,
you.
happy belated birthday to him as well.
Yes, yes, yes. So, do you have a favorite artist that you can tell me about, like all time? Of course, you said you like Nipsey. Is it anybody else that you can identify that's your all-time favorite?
All time favorite. I won't say. I'm very fickle. Like it's nobody that's like I'm a die hard. I okay, well, I shouldn't say that. I really enjoy it. Also in my top three would be Jeffrey Osborne.
Okay. Oh,
I
I
love
wasn't
Jeffrey
ready for
Osborne.
that. I was not ready. Okay.
I love me some Jeffrey Osborne.
Give
My
me a
dad
song.
put me on the wings of love.
Yes.
Said woo woo woo. I can't, it's so many. He has so many. We're going all the way. Yeah, so he have a lot of great songs. It's just old time classics, old school
Yes.
classics. My dad put me on Jeffrey Osborne when I was a kid, and so me and my sister, we love him.
Wow, I like that. But again, I would have never guessed you coming from City Girls and Nipsey, and then you jump
City Nipsey,
to
Jeffrey, like
well,
boom, boom, boom.
well, I love it. That's what music is from your perspective, and I love that we can all have our individual taste and palette for music. So I love that. So going back, you mentioned about your dad, your childhood. So as a child, you sung a particular song and you had no idea
Mm,
about the lyrics or what the song was about till you became an adult. Can you
yeah.
give us a song?
It's a song that I'm still not quite sure what it's about. Even as like it could be about several things. Maybe that's how she wrote it, but I'm still
Mhm.
like, huh? Tweet. Oops.
Oh, okay. Uh,
I never could figure out if she was talking about a man, talking
uh-huh.
about a woman, or talking about herself. I couldn't figure it out.
Wow. You know
I
what?
I reread the lyrics actually when I was kind of like thinking through songs that I like and songs from my childhood and stuff, and I'm like, I still don't know exactly what she's talking about. I know what she's talking about, but I don't
Yes.
know who she's referencing.
Wow. Well, that's the power of music. I was saying on some previous episodes that it's been time. I'm like, oh, this is what it is. And because the lyric was so savvy, you're like, wait a minute, it may mean this,
Right, right. It could
or
have
it may,
multiple meanings.
yes. So I think that's it's okay. It takes us on a journey and makes us figure it out. And it can mean also whatever your perspective is of
Yeah.
what it is. So I definitely get that. Can you describe? So I say this all the time. Anytime you see a group of people celebrating or singing a song together, it is really truly high energy. Like you hear people sing happy birthday together. It is
Hmm.
phenomenal. And I've seen so many people remix the birthday song and they've been
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's been amazing. Or when you go to a graduation, I always use this song as an example. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. And when
Hmm.
people sing that together, the elevation, you're like, "Ooh, go, 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 get it, get it, get it."
Yeah.
Can you name a song that you participated in, or you've seen a group sing together, and you're like, "Yes, you're rocking and swaying because the energy has just took you in."
Yeah. Okay, two songs.
Okay.
So one from my childhood, it's a song called "We Ready" by it's Archie Everso and Bubba Sparks. And yeah, it was like we used to sing it when I played basketball, and before we would like when we would come out in a huddle, we would yeah, we would kind of cuddle up and chant that song, the girls team, the boys team, and kind of try to intimidate the other team a little bit. So
So that was
yeah,
your hype. That was your hype
that was our
song.
hype song.
Okay,
And then
okay.
a more recent song is Swag Surf. You know, anytime you hear Swag Surf, you know, like everybody just kind of link up with whoever they with, and everybody just kind of, it's like feel like a picnic, kickback kind of vibe song. You got to do the Swag Surf with people.
And
So
who Swag Surf? Who's the artist?
I don't remember. Oh man, I got this swag. You know, I don't know who
Yes.
sing that song, but it's it's more recent. Not it's kind of old, getting a little old now too, but it's still kind of classic.
Well, that's okay. I mean, at the end of the day, what makes you feel good is what makes you feel good. And I always like a hype up song, especially if you're getting ready to go execute something and you need to be focused. A hype up song will always do it. So I like those two songs that you mentioned. So is it anything else you would like to share with my audience about you? Something that you have not shared with anyone else, or you just like to share?
Mm, I'm not a big sharer, so you would have to ask me something specific. I don't really
Okay.
know what to share.
Okay. So, what would be right now? You're currently in the space with rentals, and you mentioned a couple other things. Do you think you will add another layer to your entrepreneur calling? Is there anything else your heart has a desire to do?
Oh, well, my mind got a desire to do a lot of stuff. My heart has a desire to build these businesses, scale these businesses, get them sustainable, and working without me so that I can move more into philanthropic type of endeavors. Those things will bring me more fulfillment. I mean, I enjoy what I do. I enjoy my businesses. But I feel like I would feel more passionate, more fulfilled if I am giving something bigger and greater to the world, to people more in need. So yeah.
And let's unpack that a little bit more. Where does that come from, and has that some is that something you've always wanted to do? Is it a niche for women, men, or just humanity as a whole?
So it just comes from it comes in general. I just feel like I'm a compassionate person. I remember back when I was like a kid, I think my parents gave me like a few dollars, and I remember we saw a homeless guy on the sidewalk, and I like rolled down the window, and I was trying to I gave him the money, and I remember my mom made a comment like, "Don't be giving homeless people money," and that just didn't seem right to me even then as a kid. Like I
Right.
rejected that as far as like, your parents tell you things, you automatically take them in as truth. But in my heart, I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, this person is in need, and we about to go to our house, and we in the car, and we got food, and they don't. So
Yes.
I don't know, mommy. You won't. I didn't tell her that. You can't say that. I just said, you get slapped in the mouth. But in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna keep
Yes.
giving money to these people because they look like they need more than me. And of course, you get older and you start to learn different stuff, but that's still in my heart that if people are in need, like, and you have to put their position to help, you should help. So I want to put myself in position to help.
Yes, yes. I think that's wonderful. And at a small age, you were able to identify that that was something that you wanted to do and help people. So I think that is definitely amazing. I wish you well in your endeavors in doing that. And
Thank you.
if it's any kind of way in the future when you begin that process of doing things like that, let me know. And I'll be wherever I can support you. I
Yeah.
will. I say this all the time. Bishop Leo LaFloyd say this, and I've adopted it as my own. I've said it many times. I have because I give. I give because I have. And because of my giving, I'm never without. I'm never without. I'm never
Mm,
without. And I believe
yes,
that and know that for sure with my whole soul. I've always been blessed,
absolutely.
but you have to give out. It's so many people right now that's just take, 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 take
Right.
and
Right.
don't realize everything is a balance. You can take, but you got to give too. You got to
Correct.
be able to bless people. So I just have to say that because I truly believe in that. And I love that you brought that out. So I hopefully I'll be hearing about things in the future with that.
Yes, you will.
Yes. So before we get out of here, I would like you to share with my audience any social media platforms, any contact information you like to provide, and any upcoming events that you have on your calendar.
Okay, so you all can contact me via my business 529 Miami, which is www.529miami.com. That's the words spelled out. So 5 FIVE 2 TWO 9 NINE Miami. Also, we're on Instagram at 529 Miami. Or you can connect with me on my personal Instagram as well. It's underscore K, the letter K, DOTLEE K Lee. So connect with me on either platform. I would love to connect, talk entrepreneurship, talk life, helping people, fitness. I'm into fitness. So just
Nice.
connect.
I love that. Well, I really appreciate you saying yes. The again, going back to the podcast summit, I met so many wonderful people, and I definitely, once you say yes or give me an inkling, I'll follow up, and I'll follow up with a handful of people, and probably seven of you guys from Miami that I met said yes to me, and you were one of them, and I appreciate you saying yes
No
and
problem. It
coming
was an
on to.
easy yes.
Oh, well,
I
thank
knew it
you.
was going to be a great time, and you were very thorough and prepared, and made sure we understood what was coming up. So the process was amazing, and I appreciate it. Very
Oh,
professional.
thank you. I really appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And like I said, you guys make sure you know she's the plug and the connect for Miami.
Yes.
Anytime I say goodbye, I always for my men, I salute them. For the women, I bow to them. So I bow to you. And I
Thank
thank you.
you.
And you guys, please give Miss Keisha Hankerson a round of applause. Yay! And
Thank
before
you.
we
Thank
get
you
out
so
of here,
much.
anything else you'd like to say before we get out of here?
Um, yeah, sure. Just believe in yourself, and I'm gonna take this from Nipsey. Like, you don't always need to see it. Like, if it's in your heart, if you feel it, your intuition is real, it's true. Like, go with it. Like, sometimes in this entrepreneurship journey, it's not gonna always look like it, but if you feel it, just go, make it happen.
You know what? What a better way to end this podcast. I thank you. And it sounds so great because what it is, message revealed podcast. And you just revealed your message. Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you so
Bye.
much.
Yes.
Bye.